Well, hello there, Leo. How are you? It is so good to see you again. I'm Mary Sue, and I'm so grateful that you're here. Well, today we are doing a special tarot reading to celebrate the Lionsgate portal. This actually occurs next week, August 8th. It's also called the A8 portal, and it's so exciting because this is a time when the veil is so very thin. We can have those downloads, bursts of inspiration, revelations, epiphanies about what our destiny is, about the highest potential, where we could go, what we could do if we allowed ourselves to take action on what our heart truly desires. Now, this is a really interesting portal for you, Leo, because it is called the Lion's Gate and it is in your first house of identity. So during this time, you may have some inspirations about how you would like to change the roles that you play in this world, or your identity, how you are seen by other people. It could be including a makeover, okay? It could be, changing your career. It could be changing the roles or how you show up in the roles that you play, including, being a parent or a child, a sibling. It doesn't matter. All of those different roles that you play, you may be wanting to change the way that you identify yourself or as how other people identify you. Now, I really suggest that you watch not just your sun sign, but also your rising and moon sign. And the reason is that this activation actually is going to come in your rising house. Okay, so this reading is really, for those of you that either have a Leo sun, moon, or rising, but the activation occurs in your rising house. Your ego is your sun sign. So that is where your ego will try to keep you safe at this time, not take any too big of wild risks. Will kick up those fears that will help to keep you safe. And that is the ego's job. And then your moon sign is how you will emotionally be impacted by this activation. So let's go ahead and get it started. We're first going to take a look at the overall energies for you for this activation. Let's see, what do we have here? Spider Spirit, make your dreams real. Is that, oh my goodness, that is absolutely incredible. So, making your dreams real, especially those that have to do with your identity. So, if you are sitting there and you're, have some dream about how you would like the world to perceive you or the way you would like to perceive yourself in your first house. This is a great opportunity. You're going to get those bursts of inspirations. You're going to get those snapshots, momentary glimpses of what you could actually become if you really wanted to. And then taking shelter, the answers are within. Okay, so I feel like one of the messages I'm really getting here is that one of the things is that the way that you see yourself, or the way, that could be the way you dress, the way you do your hair, it could be the roles that you play, the job that you have, that type of thing, may be more in alignment with what other people wanted for you or expect of you, instead of what it is that you want for yourself. Yes, this is a big activation for you because it's about going within and listening, not to the external, but to your own internal self. Listening to that about what it is that you would like for yourself as far as how you show up in the world, your identity. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Wow, these cards are wanting to talk. See what we have here. Yes, there's something that you've put on hold. Okay. I'm getting goosebumps for you. This is really exciting for you. I want to take a look at this. Yes. Okay, there's something in the past that maybe you had to let go of. Okay, so this could be a relationship that affected the role that you play, because this is all about first house. So the role that you played. So say, for instance, you were married and then you got divorced. So you were in a couple, you identified as being in a couple, and now you're single, right? It could be that, perhaps, I kind of had this feeling, this is a little bit like that when both my mother and father passed, right? My role kind of changed, right? I no longer was a child to them, right? Even though they were older and everything, I was no longer a child. Right? It was like I lost that role when my parents died of being a child, right? So there's something here where I feel like you have lost some type of a role or your identity. Now, for some of you, this could be even, say that you had a certain appearance about yourself and then something occurred. Maybe you were in a car accident, right? Or you had to have some major surgery, or something has changed about your appearance because of some situation, right? There's this kind of like feeling here where you may have lost a part of your identity because of something that happened in the past, okay? And there's something here about wanting to kind of, bring it back in some way. So maybe you can't have it exactly the same way that you had it in the past, but the truth is here. You would like this role back, or this identity back, however that plays out in your life, okay? So for instance, when my parents passed away, I really and truly missed them. I did. And you know what I started doing was, and I didn't really do this intentionally, at least not at first, but I sought out other older people that lived in my community and I kind of befriended them. Like they kind of became almost like surrogate parents, not really, but a little bit, where I had that connection to an older generation. I kind of had that reconnection. There's something here where I feel as if you're finding a way to kind of like have something back. It may not be exactly the same way, but regain something of your identity that you may have lost at some other time. Okay. Really interesting. Now, if this is resonating for you, Leo, I do personal readings, and I actually have a special Lionsgate portal reading up there. The link is in the description box below if you're interested. I'd really be honored to do a reading for you, because for some of you, this activation is really kind of at the core of who you are. It's almost as if you feel like you lost a part of yourself whenever you lost this identity. So let's take a look at what this activation, how this activation is going to come in. Yes, look at this. I love this, because the Queen of Wands is all about confidence that you can be successful in bringing back something. And once again, it's not like you want to bring it back exactly the same way. It's kind of like when my parents passed away, I knew I couldn't have my parents back, but it's kind of like this energy of how can I kind of step back into that energy of a role or how I saw myself at one time, because this has hindered, okay? This loss hindered who you really are. It kind of like put you on hold. Time for a nap is letting you know that, you had to have a little bit of a time out from your identity. And maybe it was because, this is really kind of interesting, maybe it was because when you had that identity or you played that role, right? I'm not going to say you took it for granted, but it fell so easily into your life. You just, you accepted it and it was just beautiful. I think it was a beautiful part of your life. And when you lost it, you understood how much it changed you, how much loss it really brought to your life. Let's see what this is. Yes, this energy of wanting to step into a new world, start a new chapter, but but not being able to, okay, because of whatever you lost. For some of you, it could even be that, you retired. It doesn't have to be something tragic. It could be that maybe you retired and you had your identity, right, based on what you did as your career. I was a teacher. So when I retired from teaching, it took a little while for me to figure out, okay, like, how am I going to identify myself in the world anymore? Because when people ask me, what do you do, right? I used to say, well, I'm a teacher. And then all of a sudden I was saying, I'm retired, and understanding that I personally, didn't resonate very well with the word retired. It was just kind of like it wasn't who I wanted to be identified with. And then, I started this channel, and I feel like in some ways I still teach. I missed the teaching. There were things that I didn't enjoy about the job, but I missed the children and I missed the teaching. And I feel like that's what you're doing, is like you had to kind of figure out how this loss fit into your life, but then how you can revive, I'm going to say, your identity, okay? Kind of like bring your identity back because you have regeneration, right? This is the Phoenix Rising card, understanding that you are bringing yourself back to life. You're seeing the sun in your life again because you understand, okay, I lost something. My life has changed because of it. But now how can I move forward and kind of like re-identify with who I truly am? Yeah, beautiful energy. Now let's see how your ego is going to come in, because remember, your ego is going to try to keep you safe. Try not to have you make any changes in your life. Yeah. So, I think that part of it here is that this might mean that you have to, I'm not going to say you have the world card twice, so you may be actually thinking about moving somewhere new. So for some of you, if you've gone through something really tragic, sometimes people find that after some tragedy in their life, it's sometimes easier to move somewhere else and get a fresh start, kind of like where people aren't constantly reminding you of something that you lost, right? And for some of you, you may be feeling like that's exactly what you want to do. For others of you, it's kind of like, I feel like your ego is going to try to keep you where you are or how you are now, because it's going to be saying, well, if you change your identity again, it's kind of like you were one person, something happened. You had to change your identity, or you saw yourself in a new light, or the people in your life saw you in a new light, right? And now you're trying to change your identity again. It's almost as if your ego is saying, oh no, you're good as you are now. It's almost as if trying to trick you into thinking you're okay the way you are now. And of course, Leo, you are. But I feel like that there's something here that you're missing about the version of you that you were, at some time. They're even saying something about like a high school football player or somebody that had a moment in time that was really special, where they were the star on the, and then maybe they even go to college and they're the star there, and then they graduate and they never make it to the NFL or something like that, or they have an injury and they lose their whole football career. It's kind of like understanding, okay, wait a minute, maybe I can't be the football star, but how can I coach? How can I step back into something that I truly love, even though I'm not the same as I was at a previous time? Yeah, it's understanding. I think for some of you, this really is an identity of perhaps losing, for one reason or another, somebody in your life that kind of really changed your identity. Wow, I'm really sending you lots of love and hugs, because I think that this is something that wasn't of your doing, it was natural, or there was, something that occurred, and it put you on this path of kind of having to stand by yourself. For some of you, if this was a relationship that ended badly, okay? Part of what your ego may be telling you is that you're better off by yourself than to be part of a community again or a part of a family again. It's kind of like trying to keep you safe because, say for instance, you got divorced, right? And now you are single and perhaps you're being activated, okay, to remarry, to start dating again and remarry, right? Your ego would be saying yes, but when you get into a family situation, or maybe you have children and the new person you marry might also have children, and then you have to bring a community together, and that's just not going to work. Your ego could be saying some things like that in order to keep you just single. And in order for you not to go towards something that your heart is truly desiring. But here you are, you're understanding, no, I don't want to be by myself. I don't want to be in the role that I am at this time. I'm willing to heal, to do some healing around this, whatever that may mean. Okay. So if, say for instance, you were divorced, and now you're activated to perhaps, because the Queen of Wands is very outgoing, very charismatic, very much your energy, Leo, right? But it could be that, it's kind of like, okay, now if I'm going to get back into the dating scene, I have to do some healing, make sure I've done all the healing I need to do with my previous marriage. Understand that make sure that you've done that healing so that you can step into something that is beautiful, because that is exactly what is going to happen, Leo. And we're going to move to your emotional. This is an opportunity. I feel like you have an opportunity that literally is from the heavens, okay? Is from the divine. A leg up is an Ace of Pentacles. So this could be a job offer. This could be a date offer. This could be an opportunity. I have a friend that she was in a terrible car accident and her ankle was shattered, right? And so for years she had to have her ankle fused together. For years it's just been fused together, and of course it has hindered her mobility. But she was like, well, that's fine. At least I have some mobility. And recently she had a doctor that reached out to her and said, hey, we have some new ways of doing this, and I'd love to, talk to you about it. It's kind of like one of those things where something comes in out of the blue to help you to somehow return to something that made you feel really happy. This is your energy that puts you back into touch with who you really are, to help bring you back your confidence. It is a true blessing. The Wheel of Fortune is blessings are showering down upon you, right? It is the blessings from the heavens that are bringing this situation, this person, this opportunity to you. It's a beautiful energy of understanding that I feel like for some time, maybe you have been wanting this opportunity, this healing, this energy, right? And then, you have the Lover's card on the bottom. Oh, with the Two of Cups. Oh my goodness. For some of you, it could, I'm going to just say, for some of you, it could be rekindling with somebody from the past, okay? And it doesn't have to be a romantic partner. It could be a family member, right? It could be, somebody that, at one time was part of your tribe. And for some reason or another, you went different ways, right? This is understanding that you have to allow yourself to let go of having to kind of, what was this? The answers are within, right? Here's that Hermit energy again. To detaching yourselves from what other people may think about what happened in the past and what changes you may want to make in the future. So, for instance, say you got divorced, you've been single for some time, and then there's some activation in your relationship with your ex, okay? And that person comes back and there's been healing. The only reason this would work is if there's been healing on both sides, right? bringing back the community. You may be kind of a little bit attached, having to feel like you have to defend, your position. If you say, well, we're going to give it another try, we're going to get remarried, or we're at least going to start looking at, the possibility of where we can bring this relationship. I feel like you're kind of overly attached, perhaps, to how other people feel about any decision you may want to make, or maybe overly attached to how people feel about the loss that came in, right? So that's the one thing, is understanding that this is all happening for you, not to put any emphasis on what other people may say or think about the decision that is right for your own heart. And that is the key with this, because I feel like this is somewhat, since it's in your first house of identity, this is kind of a big deal for you to go on this path. But look at this. You have mending, once again, the energy of somebody maybe that you've been in conflict with, returning, trying to heal things, trying to go the distance, right? Once again, it doesn't have to be romantic, but it can be somebody that wants a second chance at a relationship with you in one way or another. Or it could be a job or some situation that you lost in the past that is trying to come back in. All right, let's pull a soul truth card for you for some final advice. Am I letting fear stop me? Yes. I think that this is an activation where that is the moon card, right? Where your ego is going to kick in and say, what are other people going to think? How's this going to look to the outside world? What are the neighbors going to say? All of that, So let's see. Are you experiencing a mountain of fear right now? Are you stalling, freezing, or giving up? The juicy secret is that you are the boss of fear. You are unstoppable. But it's up to you to see that by taking action. Yeah. Beautiful energy. All right, Leo, we're going to leave it there. It was so good to see you. Thank you again so much for all your support by liking, commenting, and subscribing. And I hope to see you again really soon. Much love and light. Bye for now.